What up, everybody? I want to say thank you for listening to this brand new episode of the No Rhyme or Reason podcast. We appreciate every single one of you for tuning in to our show. But there's a small problem. We need you to subscribe on your device, whatever it may be, whether you're checking us out on YouTube, whether you're checking us out on Facebook, no matter where you hear this, subscribe or follow the podcast so you can be alerted as to when we create a new episode for you. We've even added a link down in the description for you where you can just by one click subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Just in case you miss it, you got something going on, you're busy, we ask you to subscribe to the No Rhyme or Reason podcast. Enjoy the show. Yo, you are now tuned in to the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, presented to you by On The Map Music Group, featuring Icarus Gray, and I'm your homeboy WordPlay T.JAY. We deliver to you a dope conversation where we talk about everything for no reason at all. Tune in every Monday to join in on the conversation. And without any further delay, this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast. And we're live.
Yeah.
With no warning at all.
No warning at all.
For no reason.
We back
at all. Yeah.
It's your boy, Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy WordPlay T.JAY.
And as you know, this right here is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all. I'm pretty lethargic. I'm pretty I'm not really tired right now. But it's been a pretty eventful week, and so I just want to kind of load off and shoot the shit, see what's up.
Yeah, like TJ's in the what I like to call the when you realize you don't have to do anything because everything is working for you phase. It's done. Like we have literally been working for 2 to 3 years consistently to it was like every other month we would change something because like the process was taking too long.
Yeah.
The process was too complicated. The process was too just full of so much extra that it started to take the joy from doing the things that we were doing. So when we first started doing the podcast, it was like we'd have to record it, or TJ recorded it. Then he had to edit the audio. Then he had to put up the thing, and then he had to do whatever. And like
video involved, and it's just too much. It's too much.
And right, and then so we just kept evolving to where now it's just like, all right, we record. Sometimes we'll go live on Facebook Live. Sometimes we won't. Sometimes we'll just record audio and throw that straight to wherever.
Yeah.
And it's allowed us to have more fun in terms of the conversation, because when you're thinking about the conversation, but you're also thinking about the work it's going to take for you to put this conversation up.
Yeah, that's not a fun thought. You know what I mean? It's just, you just want to kind of do it and hope for the best. That's been a common theme recently, especially knowing that now that I'm so relieved that I don't have to do as much work anymore. It's funny because I was just reading a conversation that my uncle put up on Facebook, but I'll talk about that in a second. But
I know what conversation you're talking about. And that was hilarious.
Yeah, so I'm just in a place where 2013 I rebranded my whole entire thing, and I remembered the initial goal was to be able to make money from music automatically without touching anything. All I needed to do is put out songs, and people will discover me automatically. People will pay for the music automatically. That's changed because of streaming, obviously, but things are at a place now where all I got to do is collect the checks. And so it's just, I thought that there would be more to this process that there would be more involved. And it just turns out that I got exactly what I wanted. But so if I had a applause button, then I would press that, because round of applause for that. And
Clap, 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 clap. Clap, clap,
yeah,
clap,
yeah,
clap.
I'm
I don't
I'm
know why
just
I'm saying
mad.
clap like I can't clap. That
Yeah,
was weird.
clap, 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 clap.
Clap,
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 clap. But
clap.
onomatopoeia, right? But I'm mad
Exactly.
excited about that part. And so, speaking of Facebook, I don't really want to rag on anybody, but like my uncle put up a very funny conversation that he had with my dad, and it's
Mm.
hard to give you all the details. I really don't like harking on the past and living with that. But basically, what's happened is my dad has not been a part of a big portion of me and my brother's life. He finally got a touchscreen smartphone, and my uncle showed him my brother and my own Pandora station, and when he showed him the station, my dad replied to my uncle, "Yo, I think I'm owed some of these royalties because I gave them their talent." Which I just looked at the statement and I just like, it wasn't. I wasn't angry about it, which shows you how far I've come from this. I wasn't bitter about it. I didn't have anything negative to say. It's just funny. Like, it's hilarious to think that somebody feels entitled to any of my work, especially when my work's a lot of the doing that goes into both ends of this. So me, my brother, and everything that I've done. So it's just funny. My first thought was to reply that doesn't he know that streaming royalties are at least 0.005 cents on the dollar, and if he's welcome to cutting a check, then he can definitely have part of that 0.005 cents.
which will go up soon. Woo!
Yeah, it will
But
go up
no,
soon.
that was hilarious. To tie that into some things that are going on, like I'm super excited because uh to kind of not piggyback on that, but just kind of transition.
Yeah.
Shout out Anthony Fantano because that's how he does his transitions at the end of the videos. But anyway, um, but we are almost a week away, or we are less than a week away from the Black Panther premiere, and or at least the domestic premiere versus like the red carpet stuff has already been done. They've gone a whole lot of different places. I am so supremely excited about this. Like I've spent so much time harping on how I don't want to see another slave movie, how I don't want to see another overhyped stereotype Medea movie, how I don't want to see like just these things that only show one side of our culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so ready to see the imagination and to see the creation of this fictional world that is fictional, but it's still
Yeah.
regal and has a huge role to play in this huge billion-dollar industry of movies, in terms of telling the story and pushing that story forward to a place that propels them to their next phase of movies and stuff. And I had a conversation with my coworker and a member or girl I went to high school with, shout out Jasmine, about why I'm happy about it. And my joke was, I said, now for kids like me who there's no, we have to say, oh, I wish, or I'm Spider-Man in this universe. You can just say you're Black Panther, or you can say you're Storm, or you can say whatever.
Yeah.
Like there's a proper representation of that imagination. So what you can do now is, and what I hope will start happening and will spark a new generation of things. I was like, So you can watch Lord of the Rings, and then no, now I'm gonna make Black Kings, and like make a thing that is us. Like it's not some far stretched idea, because I think the allowance that we do of that's white people stuff, like
Yeah.
shuts us off, especially, and we talked about this too, with the Black intellectual. Like, we enjoy those things. Like, there are a shit ton of people Black people who love Harry Potter, like who swear by it, everything about it they love. How much stronger would that be if all of that represented us? Like Hermione was supposed to be Black, but I don't think J.K. Rowling went all the way through with that, or if she did, it's just in the book or whatever.
Well, we kind of talked about, I guess, being in a scenario where we don't get told about our history in general. The world hasn't been told about Black history in general. So, the whole culture of Mali and knowing about Mansa Musa and knowing about the size of Africa on the map, knowing that in general, right, is pieces that are missing from not just information that's told to Black people, but this information that's told to everybody. Everybody thinks that Europe and the United States and North America and some other places around the world are much bigger than Africa, right? So are much more, and so that scale sometimes piggybacks on importance, and it gives a false sense of how rich and how important that our culture is to the grand scheme of the world. Like, we're a big part of what's going on, and we talked about it in past episodes, and I think it's very valuable now that I'm pretty glad that I got a gift card to go to the theater, and I was like, yo, this is perfect.
Check this out. So check this idea. So there's so many different ideas that are like floating in my head. So I've created this Egypt or the Nile movie. Like, it could be a Pixar movie. So you essentially do like some small variation of, it's not like Moses, but you know how Moses was how they show it in Prince of Egypt. He was going down the river because they were killing boys or and all something.
Yeah, the firstborn. Yeah.
So Pixar version. So you get yourself a crocodile, and you just on the Nile have them have an adventure. Like, boom, just it's fun. It gets us there. You use Black actors. You use different. Like, you use like Anubis, or if you're gonna go that route to where you use all of these African deities that kind of help. So basically, you make a Black Moana, but with Egypt.
I'm pretty confident that Disney would not stray away from doing something like that. Disney, Pixar,
yeah,
they definitely wouldn't, because they've had a Black princess that represents Cajun influence and Black influence in South, in Louisiana. So
right.
I don't put it past them to the Lion King, right? They're redoing that,
right.
and that's gonna be very special to us when it comes around.
Right, and this time it's done with all Black people instead of like this.
Right, Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yeah, JTT. Like, I'm figuring like outside of James Earl Jones, I can't remember any other Black actors that were like, or Black actors that were doing voiceovers for that movie.
I can't think of any, but
I'm sure there has to be at least Whoopi Goldberg, but
yes, Whoopi was in
but
it.
Like, what are we doing here? Anyway, point being, that was like a cool idea. Like, I can see the Mansa Musa thing. Like, I'm seeing all these things that allow you entry points of, oh, the kids want to find out more. So if you find out like a story about how nutrient filled the Nile is, like it's it's the river of life in a lot of different ways. So I'm just excited, man. Like I keep getting more and more excited, and the reason I'm super duper excited is because I used my wife's Apple Music today to start listening to the Black Panther soundtrack done by Kendrick Lamar. I am hype, and I love it so far.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like it's a
They
TDE
just
album.
dropped a video, didn't they?
Yeah, for All the Stars. But I'm here for it because it feels good. It feels majestic. It feels royal. It's that Kendrick bop, but it sounds like it's Kendrick with like African chants. So some things, you know how Kendrick can come off off rhythm sometimes, but he's on rhythm.
Correct.
So there's like a lot
it's
of
very jazzy.
Yeah, so there's a lot of drums and stuff so far in what I've heard, and I like that. I like the feel of it because it feels like this modern telling of Black Panther, and I'm hyped, man. I'm as a comic book fan, I have never been more excited for a movie because not only is it about a Black character, it's about the culture of said character. Like it's not like Black man in Brooklyn stops a mugging and becomes a superhero. No, it's like
it has the same effect like President Obama, right? Where at one point in time, kids grew up and they couldn't imagine themselves as the president of the United States, right? And then Obama wins, and now you can like, oh, this is really obtainable if I take this certain path, if I take some recognizable steps, right? Somebody's already laid the way for me. And even if I don't make it as far to president, I can make it to the Senate. I can make it to the House of Representatives. I could probably be mayor or governor of my state. Like I can do those things, because I've seen this image. And sometimes people need the evidence in order to see the vision. And there's nothing wrong with that perspective of it. I just I believe that seeing these characters will give it's like seeing the Black Power Ranger, all over again, right? You feel like you connect to this super powered person just because he looks like you.
And here's the biggest difference between whether it's Blank Man, whether it's Steel, whether it's any other movie where there's been a Black superhero. This is a Black superhero with culture. Like I said earlier, like he's a king, and there were other Black Panthers. Like again, like I said, it's not a Black guy in New York stopping a mug and deciding he wants to be a superhero, trying to like recreate some sort of Spider-Man thing. Like, no, this is a movie that will basically say to kids, the legacy continues in you.
Yeah,
you are.
And
it's
not a Black guy that is painted as a stereotype to begin with. So the example would be some criminal that gets into some crazy accident. Now he has superpowers, right? He's not painted as a criminal. He's not painted as a janitor. He's not painted as some guy that works in the mailroom. He's not the funny guy that's hanging out with all the white guys. He's not
a rapper.
Right. He's not a rapper. He's not the in the box. He's not painted in the box as far as Blackness is concerned. And so that even is more inspirational, I think.
Right. Because it's not like think about Luke Cage. When Luke Cage was Power Man, Power Man's powers came from being genetically altered, I believe, in jail after some stuff. You know, he was a cop, blah, 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 whatever, stuff went down. But again, it was in that black exploitation kind of thing. So afro, headband, bracelet, you know, simple thing, just goes by his name, kind of like Shaft. You know, just this different kind of box where again, like the two most culture filled black characters to me are Black Panther and Storm. And their stories are so intrinsically tied with our culture. If you read them and if you understand them, like, you know, Storm was like, Storm's parents were brilliant before they died in a plane crash. And I believe that's like one of the redacted, or not redacted, but reboot stories or non-con or whatever. Anyway, point being, there's a whole lot of culture. I was gonna get off into a wild tangent about like their stories. But the point I was trying to make about Storm is
well, you're already in
Black
culture
Panther
stew right now. I feel it oozing out of you.
Man, I was gonna go. But Black Panther we're gonna get a lot of Wakandan stuff and how important Wakanda is to the Marvel Universe. But when we finally get Storm with the acquisition and everything else, we should also get Africa, because that is the thing. And they like revered.
Was there a Storm movie?
No.
Okay. No. Okay. I was just scared of it. Because, you know, Halle Berry is a big character when she plays Storm. And so it almost feels like some of those scenes were hers.
I mean, we're not going to talk about Halle Berry. Anyway, moving on. Oh, God. Like, there were so many, like, well, you know what pissed me off now? The only thing that pisses me off in advance of Black Panther is seeing Angela Bassett, I think, at some point with white hair. And it, like, makes me instantly look at her and be like, damn, how did we not see that a couple years ago? Like, how were we not out in the street? How did we not get this
right the first time?
Give her the role. Like, why were we just like, you know what? Let's just get the hot, sexy name of the time, Halle Berry.
Yeah, because she's on fire. Yeah.
Let's let you do a horrible African accent.
Yeah.
Like that. That is just atrocious.
Yeah.
But cool.
But you know, Angela is a good fit, and she's super talented, and it's exciting to see. It's exciting to see.
Black power, people. Woo! Wakanda forever. Anyway,
I don't know what that was, but yeah,
it's something they do in the movie. Like when they're,
I feel you.
It's like a little honorific thing. And I told, like, I with my coworker, I walked into work, I dapped him up, and then he was like, Wakanda forever, and I'm like, you know what? I'm with you. Just, like, I promise, like after next week, it's gonna be crazy. Like I'm literally finna get nice dress for this. That's half of the reason I got a haircut. You know, the other half is I didn't want to look like a man in the woods.
Have you heard that album?
I listened to the first song today. I enjoyed that. Got to the second song and was like, I'm gonna. Well, here's two reasons why I stopped. One, because I didn't really like the second song. Two, because I started to get into that creative melting pot. And I was about to. It was about to like explode, but then I had to go and run some errands and stuff, and it kind of took me out of it. But I was like, oh man, like you were right, because we've had a couple conversations about when the creativity is just gonna like keep scratching, keep itching, and it's just gonna like push over.
Yeah.
Like I think that this Black Panther stuff, that everything around me has just like it's been fueling me in a good way, and I'm like excited for what's gonna come from creating in that sense. So I also wanted to share with you guys, or share with the podcasters, that podcast listeners, I should say, and the podcast, whatever. If I get my words together. Doing this, talking to y'all every week is so therapeutic in such a good way. Because I don't feel like I'm just talking with one of my best friends, one of my brothers here. I feel like I'm talking with, whoever's listening. And these last couple of weeks of us doing the show have just continued to get better and better and better and better and better and better and better. And we've done this, like I said, for 2 years. So it's like huge, man. To be
it's
at this
freeing.
point. Yeah, freedom. And we talked about that this week too, which I think is the tie-all of everything that I've been talking about is a freedom. So the freedom that Black Panther allows is a freedom to be more of yourself. Is a freedom to be a comic book fan, like and know your stuff. You're gonna have grandparents, aunts, uncles who are going to be asking questions about Black Panther. Well, what does this mean? And what is that? And what is this? I guarantee you that Black Panther sales of comic books and so on and so forth are going to skyrocket. And not just skyrocket because we're buying them, but because we're buying them to give it to the older generation as well. The older generation that may have missed this, because it's just freeing. So it's freeing to kids who don't feel like they can do stuff. It's freeing to, just again finding more places to just be Black without unapologetically Black, I should say. It's freedom, and I like it.
Yeah, I wonder how many people will be in a place where they feel it's okay now to purchase a comic book or beat themselves about what they enjoy, because a lot of in our culture we tend to beat down on other people for being different, that type of thing, and it's all because of carried on insecurities. And I just believe this will open us up to each other a little bit more as well.
Right. That, I think, to answer that question in a certain way, is that all depends on us. And that depends on what the next move is. So if the move is just to say, which, can't happen with us, well, we're just going to wait for the next Black Panther movie, versus creators and creatives taking advantage of this to tell other stories, like you and I have said before, that need to be told in the comic book or, the mythology realm.
I think the youngest kids are going to do it. Right.
Yeah.
The youngest kids are definitely going to pick up the torch. And even if our generation doesn't do it, they will. They will be the ones that create the characters and create the things, because they're not afraid to post something on YouTube.
Right. No, I talked about that earlier too. Like, there's going to come a day where the superheroes that are Black won't have to have Black in front of them.
Yeah, they won't be called Black. They would, yeah.
Like,
I want to circle back to this Man in the Woods album though, because I like the.
Hey, Stephanie.
I like some of the songs, some of the singles, but I don't believe that this album is meant for. It's not meant to be a normal Justin Timberlake album. It's really supposed to be a freedom sort of. I'm in this space so I can make this album.
Agreed. And like, at first, when I heard the first song on there, I was like, "Oh no, this gives me mad Senorita vibes." What up, Aunt? Also, for those who don't know that are just listening, I'm talking to the Facebook live chat and shouting out the people that have come into the chat room that were watching us. God, I lost my train of thought and shouting them out. Shoot.
You listened to the first track.
First track sounded like a lot like Senorita. Mm-hmm. And it was good. It was fun. And then I got to the second one, and it was just like, what just happened? And it was such a quick tempo change, and not in a normal Justin Timberlake way. Which a normal Justin Timberlake way is like it would have been very orchestra filled, and they kind of would have just transitioned into the next song in a way that was just smooth. This felt like, again, like you said, I just wanted to do something that I wanted to try something, and he tried it. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, and he has a contract with the record label, so I mean, why not after all this work put out that body of work? And this is not an album for people that are traditional Justin. Well, I take that back. So core fans will like it. There's some fans that are not there's some fans that are of a different culture that won't resonate with
okay,
it 100%.
that's what I was. Okay, that's what I was gonna say because I was like, I was gonna only say that I'm a stan. Like
Yeah,
since Justified, I've
yeah,
been like, I'm there.
yeah.
Like
Well,
for all
I
of it, I'm
got
here
the
for
I got
all
the
of
vinyl
this.
right here, like from 2020. I got both
Like,
both
God.
both pieces, um, but
Yeah.
it's
So
just
I like how you PC did that though.
it's it's
Like,
it's the cultural thing. So it some of the music just doesn't resonate with our culture, right? And I think you can do it well where you put 808s with some slide guitar. I think you can do it.
right.
And I don't think the
And he had
execution
the
is
people
off.
who should have been able to do it.
Yeah, I don't think the execution is off on the singles. I just think that his main purpose was just to enjoy himself while making an album, and he's never been able to do that. He's always been under pressure, and
Right.
that's the pressure to please people. And I'm sorry, but I don't like when it comes to making music. We're not in the business of pleasing you. Sorry. We're in the business of resonating with what's on our mind and then hoping that you enjoy what we make.
Right.
Otherwise, it's not art.
Now there are people that are like fueled by the machine
Yeah.
that do some things that are not that are for you. But if you're talking about a true artist, and I mean a true artist in the sense that they're creating because they're just drawn to creating, we're not. No one's doing it for a specific person. They're doing it because there's something in them that says, "I need to make this," and whatever happens from it is what happens.
Yeah.
But
Because he
he only
has his
changed.
dream girl, he has his child,
Yeah,
right? So he's
because he
good.
only changed one piece of the formula. He
Yeah.
only changed one piece, and that piece was just freedom to do what he wanted. Because Neptune's Timberland are still on this album. Those are the only people he's ever worked with on his solo albums.
Yeah. I
Um,
think it's really, really tough to get a cohesive Neptunes and Timberland album. I really do. And that's just history from me observing the albums. It's
mhm.
tough to have that. Timberland is very, if I could say Timberland's like a big pot of gumbo, and
Ah,
the Neptunes are like the best. Uh,
jambalaya.
you could say that. You could say that. And so yeah. Or is that what you were saying, that the Neptunes are like jambalaya?
A little bit, but also just because you said gumbo,
Oh
just out of
no.
nowhere, wanted to be like jambalaya.
But Neptunes are like a great bowl of cereal at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? Like they
Yeah,
just what you need when you need it, and it feels light and it feels fun. They give you exactly that good dose of music, and then get out of the way.
right.
But Timberland sticks with you. He's gonna give you. He's gonna put you to sleep, for lack of a better
Right.
term. You
But it's
know.
always going to be something that like you can tell that is effortless for him in a
Yeah.
certain way. Like you know his sound the same way you know a Neptune sound, but like a Timberland sound is like this commanding thing that you're like, yeah,
Yeah, and I
I
don't know
hate
that
it.
they were in the same room. Now it's easy to get a, like Timberland lead the production, like on Magna Carta, and then sprinkle in a Neptune's track, right? It's easy to do that,
I,
but and
just
it's easy to do it
Justified
the other
was
way around.
right. Justified was the prime example of what you're saying that they probably couldn't do because you can tell who did what, but it's almost an even split between Neptune's tracks and Timberland tracks
Yeah,
on Justified. Justified, I think, is more Timberland in 2020, more Timberland. Um, like so he kind of started, changing the percentages between who he's going to, and I feel like this one is more Neptunes than Timberland, and more specifically more Chad. Chad is
yeah,
back and helping and doing stuff.
yeah. So there's gonna be a lot of musicality in there that
Mhm.
a lot of people don't understand until they listen 50 million times.
Right.
It's music that's going to sit with you because it's scored and arranged as a musician would think it should be.
Do you think that this album is gonna be like the grinding beat?
Mm, no. And the reason why I say that is because the grinding beat is instantly a hook, right? It instantly hooks you in. Now, I do believe
Right.
that this album will be revisited and people will say it's better than what they listened to the first time because they had so many outside influences to listen to.
Right. And what I more so meant, just to clarify for those who might not know what I meant by like a grinding kind of album. Grinding, when it first started playing, I didn't get it. It made no sense to me. It sounded not trash, as all the kids say, but it just sounded disjointed. Like I couldn't catch it. None of that. It wasn't
Yeah,
until like you
yeah,
sit back and listen,
yeah,
and it's like, oh, and it just clicks. Like
yeah,
it's so ingenious
yeah. Because
that it just
it's all on it sits on the two, and it doesn't ride the regular you know what is it, the regular upbeat tempo.
right. And you had the clips on it, which their delivery at that time wasn't something that, at least on that track, that didn't. It just kind of was going places, like it just rolled in an odd way. But when you got it, you got it. So I feel like that'll be this album. I have to
Well, they
listen to
said
more
the
of it and
same
kind of see.
thing when they heard the track. They were like,
Yeah,
I don't know what to do with this. And
yeah.
then like Pharrell sung the hook, and then they were like, oh, that's what this is. And then they got it. They swung into it. The grinding has an interesting swing to it.
Hmm.
But grinding is very. I'm gonna have to think about it because
Okay.
there's some musical science behind it.
Dum, da, dum, 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 da, dum. Sorry, y'all, but that beat, man. Listen, when people finally, when a dude could come through with a pen and play that beat on the side of the band door wall at our high school, it was about to go down, and it did because that beat is just so amazing. But I don't know. Like, I want to listen to the rest of it because, again, I am a stan. I do hate that I've heard so many bad reviews about it, and I don't want it to influence the way I think about it or the way I'm going into it. But I was like, oh man, like off that first song, I was like, is this gonna be one of them albums that I still enjoy? That
Well,
I'm
it's
like
just not
arguing with people later on, like
it's not a pop
lasers.
record. It's not a
No,
pop record. And it's not a pop record with hip hop influences, which is pop in the current day. The popular music is hip hop. That's what it is, and it just doesn't have any of those 90s pop elements that we would think of, or early 2000s pop elements, and it doesn't have a heavy hand of hip hop on it. It just
Right.
doesn't.
And that's my favorite. That's my little 2 cents on it. Like I do hope that it will catch on to more people, and more people will feel um inclined to kind of like still listen to it and give it a shot. But I'm still happy because it's Justin Timberlake. So like I'm always gonna be hyped about a Justin Timberlake album. I mean, like everybody is. Well, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna say everybody, but most people are.
and there may or may not be an album after this that people don't
With him,
know of.
I feel like that's how he works, and I feel like because with the fact that this will be like if I just get to the point where I know I'm making money, me and Kade have our first child, or so on and so forth, and like I, eventually I probably will have her on a track, and that's just where he is. Like like because Jessica Biel was, I think she's all throughout the album in different places, and it was cute, it was funny, it was like this is fun, like this is just them in the studio enjoying time and him just kind of having fun. And regardless of what I think about it after I finish listening to it, I can respect them for doing that, especially as an
Yeah.
artist.
Well, musically, it doesn't sound bad. It just doesn't connect. It doesn't. It's very personal, and with it being so personal, so in his own spirit, you have to have gone through that to resonate with it, and some people just haven't.
Yeah. But moving on to
Yeah.
some other amazing things. Um, music is, and you sent me a video earlier about music being therapy
Mm-hmm.
or music being healing. And I didn't watch it yet, full disclaimer. But when I was reading the title and I started thinking about the past couple of weeks and whatever mental stuff I've been going through, just, angers and the humdrum of the week. I think about when I get my energy back and how I get my energy back. Beats, because I rap, give me the most energy. Like, and so I'll go to SoundClick and I'll just let stuff play. Or I'll go back through our beats and stuff that I made and verses I'm trying to complete. And the life and the story and like an open canvas. And I think this is just an interesting thing about me. Like clear canvas, anything has always excited me. If it's a brand new notebook of paper,
Mm-hmm.
a composition notebook, like college rule. If it's a brand new game and you're like building up a landscape. That's pretty much the only way that how these new advertisements for games have been getting me. If your game has any sort of, you start with like a little house or something, and you gotta like build it up.
Yeah.
Majority of the time, you got it, because I'm at least gonna be there to like figure out the game, and then once I get to the point where everything is taking like forever to kind of do, I'm out. But that's it's so true about how therapeutic music is, and I think it should be. I feel like it should be used more. I don't know if it's used enough
As therapy.
as therapy.
Um, I don't know. It's hard to put it into context really watching without you watching the video,
Mm.
because it's a whole nother ball game
Mm-hmm.
when you listen to it. Like that, what I listened to in that video stopped me in my tracks. And I don't know if music listeners will appreciate it the way music creators will. And so it's hard for me to describe without really fully talking about that video, and I don't want to spoil it for you.
Okay, thank you. Also, I'm sorry, people, because I was about to just tell him to tell y'all, but I kind of want to watch it later on tonight, so I'm not gonna let him do that. What I'll do instead is I'll put the link in the description so you can watch it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the overarching point is that it kind of, I get certain aspects of it, and I can't wait for my understanding of it to be deepened by watching the video.
Yeah.
It's another thing that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know. It struck me in a way that hasn't really resonated with me before. And what I can say is that it's like the best assurance that you could ever have as a creative. So
okay, it's one of those.
Yeah, that's
what I also want to transition to is a couple funny things. So Quincy Jones.
I read that article today. Oh my gosh.
Yo. Quincy Jones, that's one thing. We're gonna get there. The Super Bowl and Kevin Hart. It's just another thing that's hilarious. And that's pretty much it. So let's start with Quincy Jones.
Let's start with Kevin, because that's not as juicy as the Quincy Jones article.
Facts. All right. So Kevin Hart, basically, the funny thing is, so the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. Kevin is from Philadelphia. He was trying to get on stage with the football players when the trophy was going up there. It was not happening. He was mad drunk, which is also another thing. Like, the funny thing about Kevin is how open he is. Like, I wonder about him sometimes, just in the sense that I know how much they drink hard. Like, the whole team drinks
and
hard.
Just for context, like, well, the folks that are watching this live will understand, but we're recording this, and this won't come out until 2-3 weeks after the game.
Well, a week from now, it'll be like a whole week after the game. It's still gonna be funny. I don't even care. Like, if you haven't seen it and you're listening to this, stop what you're doing. Go on Google, type in Kevin Hart tries to get on stage. That's all you got to do, and you'll find it. But yeah, we can like quickly we don't even have to stay there. That was just funny to me. So now we're gonna talk about Quincy Jones, because this is actually juicy. I just had a funny week. I just wanted to mention that Kevin Hart thing because it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. So did you get a chance to read the article?
Read which article?
The Quincy Jones article.
No, I didn't get a chance to read all of it. I've only seen excerpts of, like, when he was talking about Ivanka and stuff. Like, I've seen like bits and pieces.
It's
Rashida, come get your daddy.
It's worth reading, because it is the funniest piece of reading. Like, it's the most freeing thing that you could ever hear from a person. It's basically, I'm 85 and I don't give a shit about what you think. And it's absolutely perfect. And I feel like everybody should be like that when they're 25, let alone 85. So don't wait for it. Be candid and like he was saying, motherfucker, every other response. He was just like, I don't care about that shit. Fuck this shit. Like, it was just great to hear him talk about music creators. And he was like, there is no more real music. He was like, everybody doesn't understand music theory, and so they aren't musicians. And what his argument is that, okay, so people are making music now, and it kind of resonates with you emotionally, right? Which is part of the equation. But he was saying is like, they're missing the left brain too. They have to know what they're doing. in order to connect. Otherwise, they're just, like you said earlier, they're just doing it to cut a check. And that's what he said about Michael Jackson. He said Michael Jackson was mad greedy and would just steal music from people. Like, that's crazy to me
You
that
want to
he would say that.
know, but you want to know why it's not crazy to me that he would say it and for it to be true? Given how he was raised and how we all know how he was raised, like even the nicest people, like I'm different from my father in a lot of different ways. But some of his bad traits that he has, I also carry. I also like do genetically don't know that I'm doing it because of things that I saw because of the examples that were laid before me. So it's not so far-fetched to think about that because Mike was an inquisitive young kid who got pushed into this game way before his time. So I can only imagine how many times like he would like, have snuck around, been around and like heard his father say some things or do business a certain way. And he think that that's just common practice. Like they say this all the time, like that soft-spoken, whatever was different from how he would talk with other people.
Well, he mentioned this in the interview. He said that one of his biggest disagreements with Michael was about Michael getting all that damn surgery. And he was like, Michael is gonna blame it on the skin condition, but that's bullshit. I told Michael that he didn't need these surgeries, and it's all because of how his father abused him. He was like, his father used to call him ugly and then beat him. And I was like, shit, that makes sense.
Yeah. Like my favorite story that he told is the Prince, Michael Jackson, James Brown story. That is amazing. And I believe every single bit of it. Because I don't think, if you don't know Prince, like some people just think Prince was just a great artist and that's it. And like we have all of the memes of him being petty. That's an understatement. People that are that level of petty, like you ain't catching everything that they do. You're just not.
Yeah.
And that just seems like something that he would have done if he felt like he was upstaged. And probably like in his head, he probably like he's LeVar Ball, like undefeated, never lost. So God, that story was good. Like, and just to give y'all context, basically what happened, Michael Jackson and Prince were called to come perform with James Brown. They go perform with him on stage. Michael Jackson does a little dancing and stuff. Prince apparently got up there and like did okay, but not like he didn't blow it out the park or something. Then what did Quincy say? Who did he say? James, or was it somebody else that was like, Michael did good. I don't know about Prince or some shit.
Well, yeah, James Brown was praising Michael for
That's
for
what
what
it
he
was.
was
That's what it was.
doing,
Okay.
and it wasn't
I
that
wanted to be sure.
spectacular.
Right. And so then as they're leaving, Prince left a little bit before them or whatever, and like almost ran over Michael or whatever when he was leaving. And like it sounds so crazy until you think about everybody involved. Like Prince has done the most supreme petty things in front of millions.
Yeah.
Like in interviews and so on and so forth. So to think about and get these backstories about stuff, like they're still people. Like we sometimes make people like not as grounded as what they are. But God, that's so good, man. And this is Rashida Jones's daddy, man. This is crazy. Now I know he's Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones is a quintessential man in a lot of different ways.
He has
but that's hilarious.
by
Good
the
guy.
way.
Good guy. Man, but he is that be free, man. Be free at 25. Like if I want some of these stories now. Like
yeah.
Just and not like in a bad way. It's freeing to be honest with yourself.
Well, he's not
like
at any point in time, like even through the interview, as he's like dropping F-bombs and dropping MFs and like all this other stuff. Like, he's not coming off as being negative or rude to the interviewer. He's being candid. He's being honest. And I think a lot of honesty can make this place a lot better.
Just wait. Like prayers. Like I hope the health of 40 stays great until 85. Because
Yeah.
I want somebody, or just the general age where he just like will start telling stories about Drake or something. Because I promise the Drake stories, the Jay-Z stories, the Wayne stories, the stories that were not being told and won't be told until they're dead and gone are going to be gold. And it's gonna make sense of a lot of stuff. Like Jay-Z's will make sense, like you'll understand all his beef. Joe Budden, maybe you'll understand all his beef. 50, Tjay, like all of the legends, like it just gives you an actual perspective because you're actually able to talk about these things. And it's just like it'll make you, and this is another reason. Two things before I say this point, or one thing. Appreciate people and understand that sometimes there is struggle behind the things that they're going through. Like we'll probably clown Kanye and talk all kinds of stuff until the day he's dead and gone. And then realize when some book or expose or something comes out that it's just like, oh man, I didn't know he was going through this. I didn't know that he had a tumor on his spinal cord that he constantly had to do this for. Or I didn't know that, his mom or somebody's mom or his cousin or somebody was killed in front of him, or whatever these things are. Just appreciate people. The second aspect of what I was
we
going,
only see a fraction of the picture at any given time.
Yeah, just taking more time remembering that. It's pretty much my bigger point. Like I don't have to get to the second point. Big point being, what I'm saying is these stories are going to be great, and just kind of try to on the front end, don't just jump to conclusions on everybody. Don't just do all this other stuff, or put yourself in a precarious position of just being a dick. Like, don't be that guy. Like, don't be the guy that you act like you do everything, because half of y'all will be like, man, I mean, well, that still doesn't, like, no, don't be that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. A couple updates I want to get to, I want to ask you that I think, because I've been hype about these things. How far are you on catching them all?
70 something percent. Yeah,
Jesus.
70%.
You've been doing a lot of wonder
the
trading.
new Pokemon and Sun and the Moon games.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not doing all 700,000.
Not yet. I haven't got that far. I was pretty far in Omega Ruby and what did I have? Alpha Sapphire. I was pretty far there in the national decks.
Okay.
And I still have a lot of those monsters, and I have what is it? X or Y? One of those I have. I think it's Y.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a bunch of stuff transferred over to Sun and Moon, and I have stuff from Red version that's in Sun and Moon now.
Bars.
So I got a lot.
This is, like, y'all don't understand. This is just dope. But anyway, it's when you grow old.
I think I'm planning on playing Crystal, if I'm not mistaken. I might get Crystal version. Yeah.
I don't think I'm buying another one until it comes out on the Switch. Like, I wanted to get. I can't think of the new names. What is the new names for the things?
For the
new Sun and Moon.
Oh, Ultra.
Like I didn't want to do that. I just kind of wanted to wait until, because I know that they're just going to go to the Switch next, because the Switch is the new portable and home system, so they're going to end up doing that. And I think that'll that's gonna just be another level of groundbreaking. And I'm just hyped about that. And the reason I wanted to bring that up is because, like, man, the ability to do so many of the things that we kind of grew up wanting to do is just childhood dreams coming true. And that's kind of like been the whole theme of the whole episode that we talked about. It's just dreams and freedom and having the freedom to do these things versus feeling like they were things that you had to put away in a toy chest and set it off stream and let it go and drift away from you.
I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. I'm gonna play my fucking Pokemon until the day I die. Fuck you. I'm gonna be 83 with my goddamn 4DS, nigga. Like, nigga, I'm gonna be walking up in that bitch, be like, Pikachu, go, nigga.
that is, man. Oh man, Nintendo 40S, like that's. Oh god. Anyway, man, like I hope y'all have enjoyed.
I really don't care.
Silly random, like we didn't really have a topic or anything that we wanted to go on this week. We just wanted to come on here and talk to y'all, and it has been fun because like that's just amazing. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the last episode or whatever with our guy Mansoor, because that's the funniest episode ever. It's the funniest episode we have had ever. Period. So go back and listen to that again, then come back over here and listen to this one. But I hope you guys have an amazing week. I hope that when you hear this on Monday, on your Monday, that we give you a nice commute. Burp came out of nowhere.
Surprise, nigga.
Surprise. Burp. But I hope you guys have a great week. And as you know, knowledge is for understanding and not to prove others wrong. This has been the No Rhyme or Reason podcast with your boy, Icarus Gray.
And your homeboy, Wordplay, T.J.
And we'll keep coming back week after week after week, never missing a beat. Peace. Word up. Hey. No Rhyme or Reason is an On the Map music group production.